Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Jason, and today we are talking about my favorite gear from 2024. This has been a really long year, lots of winter camping, some good summer camping out there. Now we are rolling into fall here, so I want to talk about some of the stuff that I've used over the year, the last year from 2023. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the new stuff that I tried out this year. I tried out a lot of gear this year, but this is kind of the culmination of my favorite stuff right here. Let's go ahead and get into it. So up first, we're going to talk about the DeVos Light Ranger. Now, I've talked about the DeVos Light Ranger in a lot of videos of mine. However, this one is the new 2000. So I talked about this in my middle of the year, my, so far 2024. This is by far my favorite piece of equipment. This is a 2000 lumen light that is going to be on this tripod here, so it's going to be able to throw a nice bit of light around your camp, but you can also take this off, obviously, and hang it from the top there, so it's very versatile in that way. You can have all four of these panels lit up. You can have, just two of them or just one of them if you want, and you can also dim them if you want to. You also can change the color on here to orange or red. And if you want to do the orange or red, that's to keep away mosquitoes, or if it's really low light and you want to keep your eyes adjusted to that darkness, then you keep that light and the red or the orange. Super versatile, and you can adjust the height, so it's really nice for, having around your campsite or around your grill outside if you're cooking. So I really like this. It is my favorite piece of equipment so far of 2024. So I've really enjoyed this. You look at the 1200, or I believe it's the 800, good, better, best. This one is the best one, but there is also, some other ones that are a little bit cheaper if that's what you're looking for. I think it's very versatile, and I really love how strong this tripod is. It is very windy outside right now, so, I could extend this all the way up if I wanted to, and I'm not worried about it blowing over, even though we're getting blasted with wind out here right now. So this one is very new to me, but it is quickly becoming my favorite, or at least second favorite here on the list. This is the FSR Tailgator awning. This is brand new. Basically, it's just a 180 awning that's a little bit slimmer and made for, the back of the tailgate. I would love to have a 270 awning on here. They do make those. That would be really nice to have that 270 degree. However, I have a topper. I'm already kind of pushing the limits of the weight, plus the fact that I off-road with it. So I didn't want to go super heavy, so I went with this one right here. When I camp out of the back of my truck, I want to have that protection from the elements, from the rain and the snow. It's really annoying to get everything wet in here because of the way that, topper's angle thing kind of goes inside of there. So having this is going to protect it from, water getting inside and messing with all my stuff. Especially when I used to camp out of the back of here, it was so annoying to get water on my mattress. But now that I camp out of my rooftop tent, also from FSR, it's not as bad, but it is still annoying when I'm trying to get into the tailgate and water is pouring in. So this pretty much covers everything that I would need at camp within the weight limits and where I feel comfortable with this topper. It does have an integrated light system, which is not plugged in right now, but it runs off of a little power bank you can get from FSR. And then basically there will be a light here and a light on this side as well. And that's going to give you pretty much all the light you need. Now you can probably see the light in here inside of the back of my truck. That probably does enough, but I really do like having a little bit more. So it does also have a room, just like their 270s, where I can zip in a little room in here, which actually might be nice for protecting me from this wind over here. It is blackout, so it doesn't let in any light, which is horrible for cameras. So I'm not going to do that. But not only is it great for camping, but it is also nice for tailgating. If you're out tailgating a football game, or just hanging out in the back of your truck, because it doesn't take very long to set up. So if you're just sitting on the back of the truck eating some lunch, then you can pop that open and protect yourself from the elements. Now, when you can't see in this shot because we have the awning up, but I do have one of my favorite tents I've ever used, the FSR Odyssey V2. This is their version 2, and essentially this has been my favorite tent for a number of different reasons. It's got mounting capabilities. With the extrusion on the sides, you can mount different things on there. It's very utilitarian. It is blackout, so you can sleep pretty much all day if you don't end up setting your alarm. It does have two entry ports for your diesel heater or your AC if you have an AC, something like that. But I haven't gotten to test out the diesel heater yet because it just started getting cold recently. I'll update you guys on that in the winter here coming up, because that is a really cool feature that you can have on here. It also does have an inflatable mattress that comes with it. I know a lot of rooftop tent companies have that option, but it is extra. This one does come with it. But I will say this is just my favorite tent, having owned multiple different tents. I probably have a playlist somewhere of all the rooftop tents that I've owned, but this one is by far my favorite. Now, they do also have the FSR Aspen Light. I do think that a lot of people will enjoy that one, and you could get that for, a smaller SUV, or it could work on here. However, I just like the Odyssey a little bit better, but I do think that the most popular one out there is the Aspen Light, or the Aspen just V2, which on the outside looks just like mine. However, it's going to open in a clamshell type of way, whereas mine opens kind of from the side. I like that because it just gives you a little bit more headroom, footroom on either side. So I just prefer that a little bit more. But I do believe the more popular options are the Aspen V2 and the Aspen Light. So I'll put some links below to those as well if you want to check that out. And if you want to watch a full video review on this tent, then I will drop a link below and you can check that out as well. Up after that, we've got the helionx chair and table. So these are super lightweight and they're very small here, but they do open up to a full-size table as well as a full-size chair. Sometimes I'll sit on the back of my tailgate, and that's kind of what I did for a while, just because I don't like to take up a lot of space in the back of here. Even though I have, 6.5 foot, space back here, I still like to kind of pack light. So I would typically not bring one and I would just sit on the tailgate. But then when I found these, I was pretty much sold, because while these are really small in packaging, they open up to a regular size chair and table. So this one right here is the chair, and I'll show you what this looks like unfolded. And it's really easy to set up because it's just these little pieces that actually easily go into each other. They're not separated. They have little elastic pieces in there that make them go together. Super easy. I don't know if you can see that here. So it's really nice because you're not going to lose anything. Everything's all right there attached together. And that is kind of the same on the table as well. This is the table one hardtop. This is the basically same situation right here. Got the little elastic pieces in there. It is matching, and the roll top is going to be the only thing that's going to be separate from this. So, no real chance of losing anything. Easy to set up. I mean, these set up in seconds. They don't take up a lot of space. However, I will say they are on the more expensive side, so just note that before you go and start looking. But I do think that they are personally worth it. So kind of a 3-in-1 here that I want to talk about, but it's up in the front and it's very windy right now. So I'll just show you kind of what that is. And that's going to be sort of my power switch mixed with the Morimoto, my whole lighting setup that also works with an app. So I've had previous light setups on like my old 4Runner, and now I have the Morimoto big bangers on the front, on the top with my up top Overland rack. So these lights are awesome, and working with the system, the power switch, as well as my DeSeta head unit, which works with Apple CarPlay. And that's really awesome because basically is really integrated into my whole system, so I don't have to have my phone out. I don't have to have a hardwired piece of equipment that's gone through the firewall. It's all done through Bluetooth, so I don't have to pierce that firewall and have anything running in there. And because we're using Bluetooth, everything's kind of still like factory, no firewalls are pierced. We've just got the lights on top, 2 ditch lights on the side, and then some more lights coming up. You can actually go to the app on here if you'd like, but I want to keep my hands free while I'm driving, especially while off-roading. So just having it right there in my dash makes it so much easier. And the Garmin power switches are so easy to set up. Anyone can do it. Just run the wire to the battery and then run the wires into that little power switch. You're good to go. There's tons of lighting on this thing, and I've got pretty much everything I need for off-roading. However, I might add a little bit more. If you're going to do it, might as well do it big. At this point, I've pretty much gotten everything I need. I got spot, I've got a wide flood beam, I've got backlighting, I've got everything, especially coupled with the power switch and the DeSeta. This is more for off-roading, but it's definitely for camping as well, as I have some camping lights over there from up top. I love this lighting setup. Works great for camping, great for off-roading, and great for when you have some pretty bad weather like we have here in Colorado when it snows a ton, or maybe sometimes if it rains a ton. It's really nice to kind of have that lighting to help you out. So up next, you guys know that I love my Hest mattress as well as my Hest Comforter. You guys have seen that in tons of videos. I wish I could talk about them all the time. I love them and I recommend them to everybody I meet. But this year I got to try out something new. This is the Hest. This is a Hest Comforter single, and this is a synthetic. My other one is a down one, so it's probably going to be a little bit warmer. This one is a synthetic down. The gist of it is that it is very warm, it's synthetic, and it's not down if you are, vegan or something like that, but this is really nice, and it comes in this nice little package here. I've used this both out at camping, and I also use this at home as it is actually really comfortable and it doesn't make a ton of noise. The bag it comes in is really nice, and you can actually put little items in that side pocket there. The difference between this one and the other one is that the down one I have actually matches my mattress. So if that's something you care about, I have a mattress, a pillowcase, a pillow, a sheet set that all goes on my Hest, and they all match. This one's a little bit different, but I don't think it really matters that much. So one thing I really love about their comforters is that you can actually cinch down the toe box. You can kind of tuck your feet in there a little bit better, and that way you're kind of keeping the air and the wind out. On a windy day like today, you don't want that wind kind of getting in your tent, getting in all your stuff and getting underneath. It is really nice because it'll kind of cinch around your feet. Now, the reason I really like this over, let's say, a sleeping bag is because when I'm at home, I don't sleep with the sleeping bag. So this feels just like I'm sleeping at home, and it feels not that much different from a regular comforter. Because it's more like home, I just get a better night's rest, and I just feel a lot better in the morning. Or worried about, you want to be a little bit warmer. This is rated for a lot lower of a temperature, but if you're worried about, not being as warm because the sleeping bag is all encompassing, you can layer something like this. So you could get like a cheap sleeping bag to put underneath you, something really cheap, and then put this on top. But however you choose to do it, I think the synthetic one is really great, just because, if you're looking for down, it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive in almost every case. It's just made for the outdoors. It is, specifically made for camping. And at the end of the day, if you want to go with a sleeping bag, that is your prerogative by all means. I just think this is really great, and probably my favorite piece of equipment in the sleeping area of the year. It is super wide, super long. It's going to be really nice for one person, and you can also get a double if you want to get the down or this one as well. So up next is going to be something that has been very helpful for me both at camp and at home. It's really nice because it is travel safe, so you can stack these on top of each other and bring them with you, and it's pretty much going to be everything that you need out at camp, but it's also going to be very useful at home. And that is going to be these Black Zero stackable cases for power tools as well as general tools. All right, that wind got too out of hand, so we had to come back to the office. So the thing I really like about this is it's got pretty much everything I need for camping, especially like beyond, but it is pretty much everything I would need, in my house. I've got a tool set that I keep in the garage, and then I've got this tool set kind of up front and center when I need it, because not only is it aesthetic, but it is actually very useful. So this one is really nice. It has like a nice HD display on the back here, a brushless motor. This thing's really strong, and you can hear just how smooth it is. And then if you want to reverse it, you're just going to press that button. It'll go the other direction. I really like this a lot. You've got a bunch of drill accessories in there. This is kind of the future of tool technology, it feels like. It's very compact, and this is stackable. It does also have a handle on top so you can carry it. This one, you've got some standard stuff in there. You've got, your screwdriver, you've got a blade here, a little kind of mini bit or driver. You've got blades, you've got a wrench, some needle nose pliers, some more bits, and this really cool measuring tape. This is just a really sleek thing, and it's definitely been one of my favorite things of 2024. And over here, I was doing some wiring, so I ended up getting the third one. But if you don't need the wiring, there's a little like stuff for hanging. If you don't need all that stuff, then you don't have to get this one. You can just go with these two, but I ended up getting all three just because got wire shrink in there, clamps, just all kinds of stuff in here, screws, little bits and bobs and pieces. And because I was doing some wiring, I ended up getting that one, but you can go with just these two. Like I said, I think this might be the future of tool technology. This was the Red Dot 2024 winner, so it's very innovative, very sleek. I do think this is a really cool gift for like a new homeowner. You know, we recently just got a new home and we've been needing this plenty. Now, I still do have full sets of power tools out there, but this is what I'm going to be grabbing kind of right off the bat. First case, I'm going to be grabbing this, and then maybe if I need something else, I'll grab it, but this is what I'm going to go for first right off the bat. And as I build out the studio, you'll probably end up seeing a lot of these up here on some pegboard, just because I do think they are very aesthetic as well as being useful, but you may see them up here on the wall. Be a little bit sad because even though I think it looks cool, I actually like using these, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll have to get a second set if that is the case. So you guys know I have been testing out for the last couple years the Set Power fridges. Now this is Iceco. It is almost the same company. It's like a sister company to them. This is Iceco. I like to think of this as like, let's say Set Power's the Toyota. This is the Lexus. It's just a little bit nicer, and I will say I think it is a lot better, unfortunately, because it costs a little bit more. If you want to go with the Set Power, by all means, I've got videos I'll put down below on the Set Power stuff. I think it's a little bit cheaper in most cases, but I do think this is a potentially a better fridge for most people. I have the larger one also. I think it's the 57, but this is the 37, so it's going to have two zones here. It is very sleek. It shows up very shiny on there, but it is a little bit shiny, but it's not super reflective. It's not like a mirror surface. It's more like a stainless steel type finish. It does have a soft close lid to it. Going to be able to stay at whatever position you put it at. I really like it. It's a little bit better than some of my other fridges, but I'm not going to say if you want to spend less money, you can go with the Set Power by all means. Put a link below and you can check them out, but I think I have a code for both. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just a fridge freezer. It is, a really well-built fridge here, and it is very aesthetic. It matches some of the other, stainless steel, shiny stuff that I have, like my Camp Chef stove, just kind of a matching set. So again, at the end of the day, if you just want a cheap, nice fridge, go with the Set Power. Iceco has some cheaper ones. This is a little bit more expensive, and I think it is possibly the best one I've ever used. I also love their little battery that they came out with. That's been super great, and I've pretty much been able to run my fridge off of just that. Whereas before I was using, little medium-sized power banks like this. It's a little bit easier to use those, and it's kind of dedicated and made for this. It's really great for camping, but you could potentially, keep this in your garage or something if you needed some extra stuff. I'll drop a link below if you want to learn more, but you get the gist of it. It's a 37 quart fridge freezer. Not much else to say about it. Keeps food cool. That's about it. So up next is something I use probably more than anything in my set except for the DeVos Light Ranger, and that is going to be this Gerber complete set. So I did get all of the knives, this little set here, as well as the complete cooking set. It's got everything you need for cooking outside, cooking while you're camping. It's got two lids, it's got a handle, it's got a pot and a pan. You've got 4 bowls, you've got a big salad mixing bowl, I guess. You've got 4 plates, all different colors, so you can kind of keep them separated. Let's say you got a family, you go, okay, you've got these 2, and that way you're not going to mix up any of the plates and bowls. So that does come in this little package. Everything fits really nicely inside of here. So there is a 4-liter, and you've also got the pan with the attachment for the handle. So taking all of this out here, you can see how large all of this stuff is, and it all fits in that little container. So it's just super easy. I like it a lot, and the knives are also compact. Really at the end of the day, it's just some plates, some bowls, and ways to cook, but it just makes it so much easier. So I really like it for that reason. I have some really fond memories with this, especially making some of those early winter camping videos when I first got my topper. So I have a strong attachment to this, and I think you will like it. Yeah, it's not super cheap, but you are getting stainless steel, so that is in itself very expensive. I have stainless steel cookware in my kitchen, and it is about the same price anyway. So that being said, I'd say check out the complete set. They also have a cutting board as well. I didn't get that, but you've got knives, you got all kinds of stuff. I'll drop links to that in the description below, and you can check this out as well. All right, guys, welcome to my floor. This next one is gonna be my Roam boxes. Now, I did have this one last year, but I just recently got a new one that I can't show you right now because it is going on my truck. These Roam storage boxes, I used to think they were, a little overpriced, and I didn't really understand them. But I will say, having used these over the last year or so, it makes a huge difference. I think this is probably the best storage I've ever used by far. You can go out there and you can get yourself one of those, like little black ones with the yellow lid. I have those and I store my Christmas lights and stuff in there with it. But for rugged, off-road use, this is going to be the best bet. I've had some other ones, some Rubbermaid, I believe it was, years ago. And when I was off-roading, I just cracked the side of it and stuff started coming out of it. I think even had some dry rice or beans that was spilling out in my car. There's no real chance of that happening with this. This is super thick, super solid. So I have 3 of these. I actually traded my other one to test out another company's, but I think that was a mistake. This is definitely the way to go. These are super rugged. These have little wheels on them. Not all of them do, but this one and 128, I believe the other one was. And then I also have another one that's like flat, and that one is made to mount on the truck or on top of your vehicle. So I really do like that one, and I'll drop a link to all of them. You can check them out below. I don't make anything off of any of this. I'm just saying you can check it out. I think it's really great. If you don't like this one, you don't want to spend that kind of money because these are not cheap. Do not get it twisted. These are not cheap. So if you don't want to spend that kind of money, then go to Home Depot and get yourself a $10 bin. And if it breaks, it breaks. You can buy a new one. But if you need something that's rugged, it's really solid, it's going to have some really nice latches on it, and it is lockable, then this is the way to go. It does have a lid that closes like this. It's not going to pop off. It will also sit wherever you leave it. It has gas struts on it. It's lockable, latchable, tons of latches on here. I have an article on this if you want to learn more, but I'll drop some links below and you guys can check these out. So this is essentially my bin for all of my camping supplies. It was a pain to bring this down into my office just to shoot this, and I was not about to lift it up on the table. Just know that it can hold a lot of weight, and I'm going to keep this back in my garage and not carry it around because I have weighted this thing down, loaded it down with heavy stuff. Absolutely no problem handling that. I could put way more weight in here if I wanted to, but it's already heavy as it is. So up next is Camp Chef, and this is the Everest 2X. I did a video very recently on the Everest 2X versus the Mountaineer. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that the Mountaineer is technically my favorite one because it is exactly the same burners, the same BTU, the same cooking time, the same amount of heat, all of that. But that one has little legs that go on it, and it's just a little bit more aesthetic. But for 99.999% of people, this is probably going to be your best bet because it's still going to accomplish all of that stuff of the more expensive one, but it's going to be about half the price, and it just does everything else that the other one needs. It's a slightly smaller cooking surface, but we're going to have 20,000 BTU per burner. So the average camp stove is going to have 10,000 per burner. This one is going to have double that, so it's going to be double the output, and it's going to be maybe only slightly more expensive than one of half its caliber or half of its BTU. So I really do like it. I think Camp Chef does make a great product. It's been my favorite one, not only of the year, it has been my favorite stove of all time that I've used for camping. It is a great brand. I mean, even, Guy Fieri is sponsored by them. I think they make really great stuff. And especially when it comes to the camp stove, this is probably the best one out there right now on the market. If you don't need, a super compact one, if you need something super compact and small, then obviously go with like a jet boil or something like that. But if you have the room, especially if you're putting this in the back of your truck, putting this in the back of your SUV, you're just doing some car camping, it's really great. But I have cooked with this at my house. It's really nice. You could get a grill grate on top or a griddle on top and use it that way. But super nice, very high quality, great build, and super compact. Instead, sorry I started off in my truck and ended up in here, but the wind was a little bit too wild out there. But that being said, thank you so much for an amazing 2024. This has been really great, a really nice year for the community. I want to think into 25 and how we can actually have some meetups or something like that. That being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. I think Camp Chef